This is The Gist, the essential podcast for the discerning listener. Welcome to The Gist. It is Tuesday, August the 25th, 2026. I'm John.
And I'm Mary. We're coming to you today from Germany. Today we're unpacking shifting global power. We look at who holds the cards, who is losing their grip, and where the money is flowing. Let's jump into the gist view.
6 months into the current regional conflict, the Trump administration is pushing new efforts to cripple Iran's economy. The goal is simple: force an end to the fighting.
But we are hitting the limits of total financial warfare. Yes, severe sanctions are the only way to degrade Iran's ability to fund its proxy networks without risking American troops. But total economic isolation changes the game. It creates a permanent state of siege rather than a targeted lever.
Right. Think of it like overusing antibiotics. Eventually, the bugs adapt. By trying to cut Tehran off completely, Washington is giving Iran a massive incentive to build alternative financial networks with Beijing and Moscow.
Exactly. So who benefits here? China and Russia. They get to build a sanction-proof global financial architecture. Back in 2018, the United States successfully isolated Iranian banks. Today, those same tactics are just eroding America's grip on global finance.
And nature abhors a vacuum. Middle powers are stepping right into the diplomatic gap. Pakistan's army chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, just wrapped up a trip to Tehran to mediate the standoff.
This is key. Pakistan is prioritising its own regional stability over strict alignment with Washington. The resource flows are shifting. Middle powers are taking the wheel.
Let's pan out for the global overview. Over in South Korea, we are watching a slow-motion collapse in the Kospi. That's South Korea's benchmark stock market index.
It's a massive hit. Investors just erased $2.5 trillion in value. They are rapidly unwinding speculative bets on the artificial intelligence boom. The Wall Street Journal notes that as markets digest this crash, bigger cracks are showing underneath.
Especially in United States Treasury yields, the mechanics of government debt are wobbling. You just cannot manipulate interest rates forever to hide massive government deficits. The bill always comes due.
Speaking of bills coming due, let's look at the United States-Canada trade standoff. Retaliatory tariffs are strangling North American supply chains. We say it all the time on this show. When governments use tariffs as capricious political weapons, it just becomes a giant, broad-based tax on everyday consumers.
The consumer always pays. Meanwhile, in the tech and aerospace world, capital is finding new ways to flow. JP Morgan is shortening the time it takes for SpaceX workers to borrow cash against their private stock.
According to the Financial Times, the bank might offer that same relaxed collateral deal to Anthropic. That is a major artificial intelligence safety and research startup. It's all about locking in the new tech wealth before these companies even go public.
And SpaceX isn't just making financial waves. This Sunday, August 30th, they are teaming up with NASA. A Falcon Heavy rocket will launch the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope from Florida. It's a next-generation observatory built to hunt for exoplanets and explore dark energy.
Looking closer to home, let's shift to the European perspective. Up north, Iceland is holding a vote this Saturday. They are deciding whether to restart negotiations to join the European Union.
This is a fascinating pivot. Politico Europe reports that the pro-European Union campaign is gaining serious momentum. Why? Donald Trump's saber-rattling in the Arctic.
It completely changes the incentive structure. Joining the European Union used to be all about accessing the single market. Now, it's about the perceived unreliability of the United States security umbrella. Iceland wants to trade some autonomy for Brussels' geopolitical shelter.
But there's a massive domestic roadblock: Iceland's fishing industry. They fiercely protect their domestic fishing quotas. That local group has enough power to veto the whole accession process, no matter how worried the broader public is about global security.
Down here in Germany, we have a different kind of security problem: health security. Carola Reimann, the head of AOK, just sounded the alarm. AOK is one of Germany's largest statutory health insurance providers.
She told ZDF that there is an impending Euros $8 billion deficit in statutory nursing care insurance.
To put that in perspective, that shortfall is over 10% of the system's entire $70 billion annual budget. A $3.2 billion federal loan for this year simply won't cover it. The demographics are brutal. An ageing population is outpacing what the state can subsidise. So who pays? The labour force. Structural costs are being shifted directly onto the backs of workers.
It's a harsh reality, and budgets are tight everywhere. Over in Bratislava, Antonio Costa is kicking off a tour to negotiate the European Union's next 7-year budget.
They are demanding strict protections for cohesion funding. For our newer listeners, cohesion funds are European Union investments designed to reduce economic gaps by pouring money into poorer regions. It's a massive tug of war over continental resources.
And speaking of resources, Germany's auto sector is shrinking, but suppliers aren't just giving up. They are following the money. We're seeing active shifts away from cars and into medical technology, robotics and defence manufacturing. Survival of the most adaptable.
That brings us to today's temperature check. Across the board, we are watching a grand hedging of bets. Whether it's nations building sanction-proof financial networks, investors fleeing artificial intelligence hype, or auto suppliers pivoting to defence, the actors with power are busy securing their escape routes. In a volatile system, adaptability is the ultimate currency.
That is spot on. And that is all for today's gist.
If you found today's breakdown useful and want to stay ahead of the curve, you can get the gist delivered to your inbox every single day for free.
Just tap the subscribe link right there in your show notes. No catch, just clear analysis. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
The Gist, News Digest, and podcast are entirely written and produced by artificial intelligence. The Gist is out 3 times a day, every day, providing you with a liberal perspective on what to expect next. For more information and donations, visit thegist.online. Thank you for listening.